Good. We are now live. Let's see if I can back up this camera. No, I cannot. How did that happen? Let's see.
Good.
You got a minute or two.
Over time, it's just
Nice.
I've been just trying to get more confidence and
Yeah, it's going to be a period where you feel like, oh, that's going to break it. And then you're like, hey, it didn't break. Oh, all right, well, I'm being.
5 months now.
That's injuries for you.
Yeah.
Can you just, do you know if my audio is working? Because I haven't done this on Facebook yet, and unfortunately, like for some reason, I can't see the chat. Can you come back in? Thank you. Yes. And then I'm going to talk into the thing saying, can you hear me?
Don't feel ashamed about that. You're in school, you come from your mom's house. How are you supposed to go off this house?
Exactly.
And the further they go, see you going, they're going to support you more and more and more. Just give back, right? I paid you for them, right?
Okay.
And I'm giving back, so I did.
Could you hear me? Yeah, I know. Could you hear me when I said, I can't, testing, when I said testing, test? Okay. 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 I know. All right. Well, we'll try. Okay. If you could just. Okay. Good. Bye. So I've got the chat working now. Can people tell me whether or not they can hear the audio now? Chi, go, rook, sich, hatch, ku, jump. Bring it up to the face. Slow and strong. Ich, ni, sun, chi, go, rook. Full speed. Ich, ni, sun, chi, go, rook, sich, hatch, ku, jump. Bring the punch down, Geidan Suki. Last set of Ibuki. Ich, ni, sun. Thank you, everyone at home, helping with the audio. This is the first time we did it with Facebook. It's been working much better with Zoom, but I just can't see things in Facebook the way I can in Zoom. So thank you for the support. And rook. If it cuts out, please throw in a chat again. Full speed. Ready? Ich, ni, sun, chi, go, rook, sich, hatch, ku, jump. Sanbon Suki, Jodan, Shudan, Geidan. Ready? Ich, ni, sun, chi, go, rook, sich, hatch, ku, jump. Sanbon Suki, Geidan, Shudan, Jodan, from the bottom to the top. Ready? Ich, ni, sun, chi, go, rook, sich, hatch, ku, jump. Right away, nore. Right away, down on your stomach push-up position. You're doing 20 push-ups. If that's a big number for you, drop to your knees and do it from there, or do as many as you can from your feet and then drop to your knees and finish the 20 from your knees. 20 times, go. As soon as you get to 20, we're trying to push a little fast here at the beginning. We're gonna do some technical stuff in a little bit, and so let's get a little bit of a burn right now. When you're done with the 20, right away roll over onto your back, and you're doing 40 crunches or sit-ups. You can do any style you'd like. You can do it any way that you can get through the 40. Again, if that's a big number, make an adjustment. If that's a small number, make an adjustment in the other direction. When you're done with these, stand up, pick up Sanshindachi either side. These guys here are going to pick up left Sanshindachi, and then control your breathing from there. Bring yourself back down. After those 40 crunches or sit-ups or whichever. Nothing static. Move. I want you guys to get a little bit of a burn. Be breathing hard. You're going to get a break in a second. People at home, you have 30 more seconds, not even. Okay. All right. So what we're going to work on today is we're going to do our basic traditional blocks. In fact, maybe not just basic ones, but some advanced blocks. And then we're going to do some more modern, functional blocks, kickboxing style blocking instead. Either way, here's what I want your attention to go towards. So very fast story. A bunch of years ago, Senpai Franz, one of our black belts, we were preparing him for competition for a Kyokushin style tournament, and he was having some trouble like getting as much power out of certain kicks that he wanted. And one of the things that came to me that I mentioned to him was the idea that if he focused very explicitly on his shin bones, the thing that he's actually making the contact with, if instead of thinking of himself as throwing the kick, he thought of himself as using this weapon of the shin, that it would give him more focus on the kick. It would allow him to deliver it more accurately. And that's exactly what happened. And he felt like he saw a big improvement in landing this kick by focusing on the part of the body that he's using. So as we go into our basic blocks, what I want you to visualize or think about is this spot on your forearm. So we've got the forearm bone is two bones. You got one on the inside and one on the outside. And I want you to think below the wrist bone for about 6 inches before you get to the meat of the forearm. So you don't want to block with the meaty part of the forearm. It can easily get Charlie horsed. You want to block with the bone itself. You also don't want to block with the wrist bone because it's very irregular. We want to block with this 6 inches right here. So I want you to imagine that on both arms, for the upper block, for the lower block, and for the outside block, it's always with this outer edge. For the inside block, and a couple of the other ones that we'll get to later, it's the inside part of the forearm. But it's always that same 6 inches on one side or the other. And I want you to think about the idea of like throwing that 6-inch spot of your arm at the technique. Whether it's at a punch that you're redirecting or it's an overhead strike, you are hitting it with this spot of your arm. So on every one of these blocks, I want you to think about that 6-inch portion on every single technique. Left hand up, Jodan Uke. So that spot is right there, right? I want you to think you're throwing that at the technique. On the first 9, like before the ki, a little slower, and visualize that part of your arm. On the next 10, just throw it with ki. We'll go from there. Ready? Ich. You don't have to do it super slow. Just do it, a little more thoughtfully. Ni. Sun, chi, go, rup, the 6 inches of bone. Sich, hach, ku, jo. 10 more times, just throw it. If you can still be mindful about the blocking surface, do that. Ich. With ki, you guys hear? Ni. Sun, not sure how much it'll come through, but whatever. Chi. Go. Rup. Sich, hach, ku, ju. Middle outside block, Chudan Soto Uke. Same surface of the arm, so you're just bringing it down in front. Make sure we swipe it. Why don't we have Senpai Adri turn this way? Take a step to your left. Perfect. So now everyone has a view from both angles. Ich, right arm, Chudan Soto Uke. Ni, sun, chi, go, rook. Sich, hach, ku, jo. 10 more times. Throw it at full speed, but try to still be mindful of the part of your body. Ich, ni, sun, chi, go, rup, sich, hach, ku, jo. All right, middle inside block. So think for a moment, it's now the other side of our forearm, right? It's the other bone. Picture it, feel it. Ready? Ich, slow. Again, not slow motion, but just a little slower, a little more mindful. Ni, sun, chi, go, rook, sich, hach, ku, ju. Very good. 10 more with ki. Ich, ni, sun, chi, go, rook, sich, hach, ku, jo. And turn it down, Gedan Barai. This is the same part of your arm as the upper block and outside block. Outer edge of the forearm. Ich, take your time. knee. Let's remember the edge of the forearm should be lined up with the outer edge of your leg. Yep. Sun. Otherwise, it's too shallow or it's too much. Chi. Too shallow means you get hit in the leg. Too much means you've wasted energy. Go. Rook. Sich. Hach. Ku. Ju. 10 more times with ki. Ich. Knee. Sun. Chi. Go. Rook. Sich. Hach. Ku. Ju. Good. A guy just walked by who it was impossible for Senpai Adri to keep a straight face during. Don't worry about it, but one of the advantages of being able to train in the dojo is get to see all of our wonderful neighbors, regardless of how much heroin they seem to have done in the last 10 minutes. All right, anyway, it's a little inside joke here. Okay, so moving on to a spot here where it will make your block more effective, but this actually might make it more challenging. So we're going to do Chudan Uchi Uke Gedan Barai. So everyone just extend the right arm out to join the left arm. So left arm's down. So now we're doing 2 blocks. We're doing our inside block and our lower block at the same time. And we're using 2 different surfaces. And they change when you switch arms, right? So your right arm now is the one coming up. So it's this kind of inside edge, like when we do inside block. And the one going down, it's the outer edge because it's Gedan Barai. And then when we switch, like if you really think this through, you'll feel the switch, right? As I switch, I'm now going from using this edge to using this edge, right? And I'm going from this edge to now using this edge as I go the other way. And it's all just in your mind, this visualization. But if you do it and you really think about these 2 surfaces, it's going to be more challenging, but I promise it will make the block more effective because you'll actually be blocking something in your mind instead of just moving your arms. When we just do this in the air, right, swinging our arms around, super easy. Like we don't have to think about it very much. But I guarantee you it's not going to block a technique the way you want it to than if you think about the parts of your arm that you're using. So right arm up, left arm down. We're going to do the first few really slow. Inside of the arm, outside of the arm. Ready? Ich. Feel it. Boom, boom. Switch them, knee. And when you switch, it switches to the other side of your arm. Imagine like if you're playing a video game and it's like red and blue and it's going to switch one side depending on which one's actually making impact. San, yeah, feel it. Chi, go. Rook, sich, hach, ku, ju. Very nice. 10 more times, faster, or if you're still kind of managing this, manage it. Ready, ich. Yeah, with ki here. Ni, just for ambiance. Sun. Chi. Go. Very good. Rook. Sich. Hach. Ku. Ju. And last one is, people will not even kind of think of it as a block, but it totally is one, our Shuto NK Uke. So everyone go. Left arm straight, right arm on top. All right. So we're not actually blocking anything until we pass this position. So we come down to this kind of like tombstone from jiu-jitsu or I dream of genie position, right? The moment the top arm passes the bottom arm, it's now starting to block. And as this arm starts to rise, it's starting to block. In both cases, we're now talking about the outer edges, those 6 inches between the wrist bone and the forearm. Everyone bring your hands down to the center so they match. And now, as the hand goes down and as the hand goes up, engage those parts of your forearm, right? This palm is out, this palm is in. That's why they're facing in different directions. And then continue the motion. Imagine, just feel the contact. Often this is like an awazi suki that you're blocking. You're moving both arms. At about this point, your arms would disengage from theirs. You're no longer actually blocking. Pull it back and shove forward. It's kind of like our own awazi suki, but done with open hands. Go to the left arm. All right. Start to bring it down. It's not doing anything yet. Sometimes you'll see experienced people doing Shudo and Kyuke, and it won't be quite as smooth on purpose. It'll be like this. And the reason is because this first block is like the first contact with your opponent's arms. So it comes down to the middle, and now as it drops, left hand shoves down, right hand shoves up. Continue. You don't have to put that break in it, but I want you to intellectually understand that it's like a block down and a block up. Very often that, like, go into a setup, Christian, for me, that I'm throwing like an awazi suki here, and it's like down and up, boom, right, and off we go. Actually, go the other way. Go again, yeah, boom, Right. Oh, and then I get taken out. Okay. So everyone start right hand on top. We're going to count slow. Take your time. Senpai Adri, why don't you go left hand on top so you're a mirror image, and you will alternate starting from there. You can copy either one depending on which one is clearer for you. Ready? Itch. Good. 2 guys here. Let's go a little slower if we have any beginners. Next hand on top. Whatever hand you didn't just use. Other hand. Go. Knee. Yeah. That's much better. Thank you. And you can show that maybe first moment. Pop. To the third one. So right away, go ahead and set up the next one. We'll just do 10. Sun. Very nice. Go to the next one. Chi. Go. Couple more. Rook. So if this is brand new to you, maybe do like 1 every 2 counts. Take your time. Sitch. As always, visualize what you're doing instead of just moving your arms and legs. Hotch. Last 2 coming up. Cool. Last one. Ju. Nore, come back all together. Not Moxo, yeah, we didn't actually do a Moxo Kata as much as it feels like it. Good. Down in your stomach, 30 seconds, any style you'd like. It doesn't have to be as aggressive as before. Begin. Can be, but it doesn't have to be. All the way down, onto your back, 30 seconds from here. Begin. And down, stretch out on your own. So we're going to come back. Everyone can keep stretching out, but try to look up at the screen if you can. We're going to come back now to some modern, more kickboxing style defenses. 2 points about fighting style defense. One is that we do our defense unlike in traditional karate. Well, not always unlike, but especially in our striking version of it, where we want to still have offense in mind. So in other words, I want to defend things in a way that I can throw my own techniques right behind it. But that's actually the second most important thing. The most important thing that comes to modern martial arts versus traditional is I want to defend something where it's very easy for me to defend the next thing as well. So traditional karate blocks are very large, very exaggerated, which means that like if I block up here and the next technique is like a front snap kick to my groin, it's a big motion for me to get that second block going, and I might not get there in time. Many of the more kickboxing modern blocks, I block and I'm not far from defending any other part of my body. There are things that are furthest, and therefore a good attacker will throw something and then throw the thing that's the hardest to defend next behind it. But that's just kickboxing strategy. I want to be able to defend where I don't commit everything to one defense and leave one other side entirely wide open. Let's stand up. And so the goal with defense in kickboxing is to be conservative, to defend things with the least amount of effort, the least amount of movement and energy that I can. So both of you guys pick up a fighting stance to start. Kamaite. All right. So we need to worry about, to our head and to our body, straight techniques and round techniques. We don't actually have to differentiate from here on up whether it's a punch or a kick coming at us. It doesn't matter. It's either coming around or it's coming straight at us, with the one other exception being an uppercut, which is kind of its own problem. We'll address that another time. But a technique coming around or a technique coming straight ahead. Which is better? Well, a straight technique is actually a little harder to defend. You usually can't kind of catch it or block it so cleanly, but they need to be very precise to land it. So it's harder for them to land it, but it's harder for us to defend it also. Any kind of large round technique, it's a lot easier to land it because it covers a big wide area, but because of that, it's a bit easier to defend it. We're simply covering up those areas. So let's start with the round techniques, then we'll go to the straight ones. So right now, both of these guys are in a fighting stance. Their fists are right around chin height. They don't bring them up here because although that would protect our head, it exposes our body. And they don't leave it down here because that protects our body, but it exposes our head. So we split the difference and have our fists right around chin height. You'll see boxers tend to go a little higher, and you'll see kickboxers sometimes a little bit lower. A Kyokushin style guy's a little lower because those big kicks coming to the body would be devastating as well. So first thing we're going to imagine defending is defending round type techniques. Again, it could be a kick coming to the head. It would just be a bigger technique. What do? Well, if something's coming to the left side of our head, we want to move a little to the right to mitigate the power, and we simply want to cover up that area. When something's coming to the right side of our head, we move a little to our left, and we simply cover up that area. That's all. Notice if you guys are looking right at me, I'm keeping my eye contact with you guys, with the opponent right in front of me while I move and while I cover. So that's all we're going to do. Start off by just rhythmically going left and right, and then mix it up. Go right twice, go left twice, whatever. Just play with it. But I want you to imagine. I want you to see the techniques lobbing at your head. Maybe I'll just lob some at you here and you can respond to them. But the idea is this is what's happening. I'm throwing big, large, exaggerated versions, but the idea is the same. Nice, small defenses. Yep. You want to move with the technique a little bit because even if you block it, it's still going to probably hit hard, especially if it's a kick. Move, move, move. Good. Cover and move, cover and move. Okay, you guys behind me keep moving. Next, same concept to the body. It's a little bit of an easier motion. We're simply going to connect our elbow to our belt. Boom. We're also, because we don't want to let our head pop all the way out, keep everything compact. Same idea though, move with the technique. We're simply creating a shield with our forearm and our upper arm on that spot of our body. So now people are lobbing this. Also, it could be a big roundhouse kick or even a knee kick coming to your body. We're covering up and we're crunching in slightly. Still move with the power of the technique. Footwork here matters, nice and light. You can see them on their feet. We're covering that rib. We're covering that abdomen right here, yeah. Okay, continuing with these round techniques, bringing it down to our legs. Anytime something is kicking at our legs, we're always defending with our legs. So same idea, shift your weight, lift the shin, point the shin toward the target. Try not to mess up your whole position every time you block. Just a small lift, put it back down. Small lift, put it back down. Continue, boom, boom. Yeah. Notice you'll see sometimes these guys will kind of like cover up that side with the arm too, just in case it's a fake low kick and ends up being a body or a head kick. You know, this would be just as much a mistake as reaching down. I'm going to get kicked in the head just as easily. Keep moving, yep. And Yame, you guys can stop moving. So now, last thing we're going to look at is straight techniques. So it's not that someone couldn't do it. We prohibit straight kicks to the face because they either miss altogether or they break someone's nose. There's no like nice clean getting kicked with a front snap kick in the face. So we prohibit those. Doesn't mean in like any kind of competitive kickboxing or in a self-defense situation, someone might not try to hit you with that. But we mainly, when it comes to straight techniques, we're talking about punches. It could be a boxing style punch to your head. It could be a kick or a punch to the body. Again, we don't throw straight kicks to the legs, so that's not an issue either. With something coming to our face, the main way we defend techniques coming to our head that are straight is actually movement more than it's your hands. This isn't great. We cover our hands get hit, we get hit kind of by our own hands. Not as bad as getting punched, but close enough. So the idea with straight techniques coming at our face is moving your head and picking things off with the open hands. So your palms are finding the techniques as they come at you, but we're mainly getting our head away from the techniques. Let's practice that by itself. Imagine this is what you're seeing. You're just seeing straight things coming in. Not necessarily that fast, but straight down the middle. And you need to do something about it. You can't just cover up. You're going to take a beating. Try to pick them out of the air and move your face offline from where those punches are coming. Eyes wide open. Yep. This is not easy. That's why it's an entire sport of boxing, how to defend yourself from punches coming at your head. Good punchers can land very easily. It takes some technique. Straight, you guys keep moving. Straight punches to the body are easier. They are the closest things to our traditional blocks. As a big power punch, if a jab's coming to our body, you don't have to worry about that very much. A jab hitting you in the stomach or the chest should not cause too much damage. If so, you got to pay more attention during that crunch part of class. But a big right hand totally could knock the wind out of you, and we're going to block with that forearm. Same spot we did with all of our traditional blocks. Boom. If they're in southpaw, they're standing in the other stance, right leg in front, that big left hand could come through, and we have to block with that hand. Boom. Just use those forearms. Block stuff out of the way. Boom. Boom. Yeah. Play with it. 30 more seconds. And Yame. Stretch out on your own. We're going to come back for just a minute and put all that together, and then we'll move on to Kata. I know we didn't take a 7 o'clock break because the timing was weird for us. If you want to grab a sip of water, do it right now, but come right back. All right. So now, one last minute, what you're going to do is move around, putting all of those things together. So I want you to imagine, this is actually what we're going to do. We'll do something a little different. Senpai Adri, come a little closer and face the camera. Senpai Christian, face the other way and be like offset. So like take a big step back, Christian, take a big step to your right. More. Perfect. All right. Both of you pick up a fighting stance. So Adri, you're not going to punch at and kick at Christian. You're going to punch and kick straight at me by the camera. So the people at home, Adri is the person you're defending from. His techniques are coming at you, and he's going to lob them nice and smooth. He's going to throw all of it, all kickboxing techniques. Kicks low, kicks high, punches low. Not even Kyokushin rules, full-on kickboxing rules. Christian is not going to interact with Adri, but he's going to move in a similar way than you should at home. So I recommend mostly you guys respond to what you see Adri doing. If you get really confused, you can mimic what Christian is doing, but you should basically be doing the same thing as Christian simply by watching Adri. So Adri's on offense, Christian's on defense. We're doing the whole gamut. It's going to be smooth and slow and easy to manage. And Hachime. Just one technique at a time, Adri, no combinations. Yeah. There's that jab. Move the head, hands up. Yeah. Mix it up. Let's see. Here comes that big hook. More exaggerated, nice and big. Imagine this is the first day. Yeah, exactly. Of someone dealing with boxing. Right, exactly. Let's mix some kicks in there too. Remember, a straight kick to the body is the same as a straight punch. It's just harder. A roundhouse kick to the head is the same as a big, powerful hook to the head. Yeah. Very nice. Notice like Christian's movements are like minimal. He's not running all over the place. He's just responding to what he sees coming at him. He's moving his head. One of the main ways you defend your head is to make it a moving target. If it is sitting there, they will just reach out and touch it. If it is moving, it's going to be harder. 10 more seconds. And Yame. Very good. Shake it out. You guys, why don't you go back, both of you facing the red wall. Very good. And yoi, everyone. Home as well. Taikyoko Kata #1, regular way. One thing that I mentioned in the 11:15 class this morning to the group that was there is when you guys are at home, any senior, even a junior, as long as you're not biting off more than you can chew. Anyone that wants to do a kata migi hachime, feel free. When you're in the dojo, this is an advantage of doing it at home than in the dojo. When you're in the dojo, you can't choose to do that because you're going to go run into the people next to you. I have to dictate who does it. But when you're at home, you're the only one doing the kata, go ahead. If you want to play on the migi hachime, if you're like, not in the mood for Taikyoko 1, I want to do a migi hachime at least. Go ahead. It's fine. You don't have to do the whole thing. I mean, you don't have to do exactly like we're doing it. You're not going to run into anyone. Taikyoko #1. Here, however, we're going to do regular way. And ich. Neat. Every block, think about the surface you're blocking with. Sun. That's our theme for today. Chi. Down the middle. Go. Rook. Sich. Hach. Back leg turn. Ku. Ju. Just watch your step on the green there. Yeah. Ich. Ni. Sun. Chi. Go. Rup. Back leg. Sich. Hach. Ku. Ju. Nore. Come back. Good. Adjust the line forward. Yoi. Pinan kata number 1. Feel free again at home. If you want to Migi Hachime it, do it. Ready? Ich. Ni. Sun. Chi. Go. Rook. Upper blocks and think about that surface. Sich. Like attacking their arm. Hach. Taikyoku 1, 8 moves. Ku. Chu. Ich. Ni. Sun. Chi. Go. Rook. Sich. Yeah. Hach. Turn. Ku. So we didn't address this block. I'll just make one fast point. It's Shuto Moashi Uke, which means it's also a block, but it's a block where we are blocking with the Shuto surface. So the same spot we would hit someone with the knife edge, we're now blocking with that. Ju. So the focus on the edge of your hand, just like any other Shuto, would be fine for the block here as well. You don't have to do something special. Nore. Okay. Senpai Christian, Pinan Kata number 2. Senpai Adri, Pinan Kata number 3. Those of you at home can pick either one, or you can do the one you know, or if you don't know one of them, if like you're yellow belt or lower, go ahead and do either one. So Senpai Christian is doing Pinan 2. Senpai Adri is doing Pinan 3. Ready? Ich. You know what? Everyone at home, just stay in position. You two, Nare. Why don't you face the camera instead? Yeah, I think we're going to lose too many details if people don't know the kata. And go ahead, you two, ich. Go into the first move. Okay, so those of you at home, Adri, one step forward. Those of you at home, you're still... No, I'm sorry, not forward that way. Forward toward the red wall. Yeah, Neat. You should all be at home now on your second move, whatever kata you're doing. I'm sorry. Sun. Chi. Go. Rook. Sich. Hach. Very good. The moves are the same right now, whether you're in 2 or 3. Christian, back up some so you stay in frame. Ku. Ju. So if you're doing Pinan 3, you just ki-eyed, you're about to turn around. Ich. So if you're doing Pinan 3, you should be facing away from the camera. You also could, if you'd like, face the camera or face the screen so you can watch Senpai Adri and just back way up. Ich. Now, if you're doing Pinan 2, you're about to go back up the middle. And again, you can run away from the screen and turn and face it, whatever you want. Sun. Chi. Go. Rook. Sich. And now Senpai Adri back up. We're good. Hach. Ku. And Ju. Nore. Come back. Very good. Adjust a little bit, the lines. And now Senpai Christian, Pinan Kata number 4. Senpai Adri, Pinan Kata number 5. Those of you at home, pick one. Or if you're a yellow or advanced yellow and you are working on Pinan 2 or Pinan 3, go ahead and do one of them again if you'd like. Option is up to you. Yoi. Ich. Ni. Sun. Cheat. Go. Rook. Sitch. Hotch.
Yeah.
Cool. Joe.
Yep.
Itch. Knee. Sun. Cheat.
Yeah.
Go. Rook. Sitch. Hotch. Cool.
Yep.
Jew.
Yep.
Very good. Nare, come back. Very nice. Last time, down in your stomach push-up position. 30 seconds, you can hold it or you can be active. Begin, go. By the way, those of you that this is the point, because you know this is the last thing and then we're going to bow out. Those of you that go log off of Facebook right when I say last set down push-ups, you guys are cheaters. You don't get credit for the full class. And I can see who's watching and who's not. So now some of you are just going to leave Facebook open and go into the other room and get a snack. All the way down. I know what it's like. Roll over onto your back. 30 seconds. Something active or something static. Begin. Last one. And all the way down, legs out straight, flat on your back. And breathe, settle into the ground. Senpai Adri loves to make the joke about Superman 2. And if you don't know the reference, Superman 2, the original one with Christopher Reeves, was that Superman, finally, Lois Lane figured out who he was. And of course, he's Superman, so she fell madly in love. And, they go run off for a weekend and finally, are in love with each other. And of course, the moment Superman is off the scene for a weekend, in comes the supervillains and they take over the entire world. And he comes back and goes, oh no, I got dragged away from my job of being Superman by this love of my life and the world fell apart. So there's some interesting analogies there. You could take them, you could look at them any way you'd like, right? And you could flip the genders, right? It's 2020. We don't have to be, doesn't have to be in one direction, right? Yeah, Adri's going, he gave up all of his powers. Yeah, he did. It was a mistake. He instantly reversed it as soon as he could. But anyway, I'm not obviously talking about watching out for certain love interests, right? That's not the point. The point is the reason Adri makes that joke all the time is our training, it can feel like superpowers. It's I feel walking down the street like I'm not a normal person. And, for the most part I am. But it's that's what training can make you feel. It can make you feel like you're the strongest version of yourself, that you are, that you've got these powers, you've got all this ability. Things will Superman to you, right? And it won't necessarily be a new girlfriend or boyfriend, right? It can be anything. It can be an accident where you get injured. It can be a change of job. It can be a pandemic. It can be all kinds of things. It can be just a loss of momentum, right? It can be you take a week off and that week becomes 2. That 2 weeks becomes a month, becomes 2 months, etc., right? Things will take you off that path. And the goal is to just get yourself back. And I'm preaching to the choir because all of you guys that are watching took class today. Most of you have been taking class throughout. But that doesn't mean that you're not vulnerable to something knocking you off the path. I often have given real credit to the luck involved that I've been training now for 30 years. And I never got knocked off the path for more than, say, like a couple of weeks or a month due to an injury. I never had to take off for 6 months because I had to, like, I didn't have any money, or because, like, I wasn't able to figure out some way to do it or whatever. And of course, these things will come up. I was young enough for most of it that I hadn't been starting a family yet. That obviously can get in the way, that you have so many responsibilities there with a job and children and all the rest of it. The goal is to figure out how to stay on the path even if you're slowing down your speed. So like when you're 17 years old and you are living in the dojo, that's like sprinting the whole time. And maybe you get that first new job and you suddenly have to spend a bunch of time there and you can only get to the dojo once a week. Now you're just like slowly walking on the path, but you're still on the path. You're still on the path. You're still training. You're still showing up. You're still walking forward. The problem is when you stop, you don't stop on the path. You stop and you start walking somewhere else. That is what the analogy would be appropriate, is that off I go, that way. I'm not on the path at all anymore. And getting back to the path is going to be a journey to get back there. You don't just stop, and now that I can train again, I get to start walking again. It's not how it works. So I don't care if you get slowed down to a crawl. Keep on the path. Keep yourself training. We're going to be soon getting to the point where we're going to be able to have classes back in the dojo. I know for many of you that is kind of the point in which it becomes more enthusiastic. I look forward to seeing you there. Until then, stay on the path. Keep doing what you're doing. Stand up, guys. Everyone, Shinzen bow. Nice. Face here bow. Senpai Adri. Nice. Senpai Christian. At home, any black belts or senpais? All lower belts at home as well. Us. Good. Feet together, hands together. Moxo. Moxo yame. And Nore. One last time. Shinzen bow. Thank you guys here. Us. Those of you at home, I went a few minutes over because we had that like sluggish start at the beginning while I was figuring out the audio. Thank you for bearing with me. I think we've basically figured out most of the bugs. Us. See you guys later.